Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris Castillo of Untitled Thoughts. I'm sorry for the delay. Our guest had some difficulty finding the studio. Here in the studio with me, I have Farmatron Automatic
How's it going? Sorry for the delay.
and Conscious Vibe.
How's it going?
All right, Conscious, my questions are now for you.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the Golden Child. What's that?
The Golden Child was actually my very first EP I dropped. It was like
Okay.
3 years ago. I was new out here to the Valley scene. I didn't really know nobody out here. I was just doing the love, just because I love doing it. And when I dropped that, I actually got in contact with Farmatron here through just through Facebook.
He actually sent them to me in the mail. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
and I was giving out those CDs for free. All my music I get out for free to this day. And from that point, it was like, it was after that. That's when I dropped my other album. The year after that, Ancient Temple. I actually dropped two albums last year. Yeah, Ancient Temple and The Stories from the Basement. That was my recent one I just dropped.
Mm-hmm. What about the Pick Your Poison tour?
Oh, the Pick Your Poison tour. That was Paul's one from Dope Underground Cat from
Straight out of Cali, LA.
from LA. Yeah, he's pretty well known. He's a heavyweight too in the underground music scene. Yeah, he just came down here. Evolve brought him down actually to get a year. So we were there just doing our thing. Boom Bap. I'm also part of the Boom Bap Masterpiece Records too.
Okay.
I just barely got put on.
What was that again? Boom Bap?
Boom Bap Masterpiece Records.
You guys mind telling me a little bit more about that?
Boom Bap Masterpiece is like a hip hop conglomerate. It's like generations like Evolve, Palm Leaf Skylines, Mike Mel. They're a little bit older than us, and they've been doing this for a while. Like they do local shows and set up local battles, and they try to perpetuate hip hop, to its rawest. Not club, not what's banging on the radio, just like straight hip hop that comes from the soul. So the way I met Evolve was maybe 5 years ago. I used to work at a skate shop in Brownsville called Big Brother, and they would give me like enough liberties to throw shows at the warehouse. So I was doing a show like right in the alleyway, and Evolve shows up with DJ Mike Nice, and I was so blown away about like how good they were and how like it was going over people's heads. And from then on, like I was so inspired by him, and he started taking notice of me too. I mean, I was kind of on some weirder stuff back then. I wasn't traditionally hip hop. I was doing more of an indie mix because I didn't grow up listening to hip hop. I grew up listening to indie bands like Interpol, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, the Strokes, stuff like that. A lot of teenage angsty stuff. So for me to transition into hip hop, I did this really weird thing, which ultimately helped me out because the people that aren't really into hip hop, they find they touch base with me on the indie instrumentals, and then they get into the lyricism of it. And Evolve just kept doing moves, and little by little he would incorporate me into that. And that's basically how we work. It's very tight knit. No contracts, none of that. It's just like show the work, do the work, you're on. And they're totally awesome. They press it. They press CDs. They press vinyl, and it's all DIY, do it yourself. He traveled around and made his connections, and now he's given us a platform for us to work with, and we're just trying to give it 110%.
Yep, his work ethic is crazy, man.
He's constantly putting album after album after album.
Right.
And like month spans, and I took a year to make mine because I wanted it to be really, really good. But I take a lot from him. Like I definitely, that's why we're working on a Master and Expert EP, and all at once, Conscious is working on his upcoming EP also on Boom Bap.
My debut for Boom Bap Masterpiece. So I'm looking forward to that.
So I want you guys to go ahead and tell me a little about the songs you brought for me today. What's going on with your songs?
I chose 2 for my album. I chose one in Spanish because. I just like I love the fact that we live in a border area where Spanish and English come together, and a lot of people have trouble with the language. Mostly on the like Tex-Mex slang of it. I actually try to practice like proper Spanish. And I want to put it out there. Also because I have a lot of family in Mexico too that would like to understand what I'm saying on some of the tracks. So I brought one in Spanish. And then I brought one, I think it's a Bump That Boom Bap because, it's just boom bap, they put me on, so I'm going to put on, have it tattooed on my soul. And basically, the song in Spanish is it translates, it's to find the alternative into an inevitable, alternativa a lo inevitable. And it's just not like I like working with paradoxes, and I like poking at people. Like sometimes you don't want to move because you're scared of what's gonna happen, and like, hey, like what's gonna happen is gonna happen. You gotta make the best of it. So that's what the song touches up on. Like you try to be polite to life, and life isn't gonna be polite to you. So you gotta be rough around the edges. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. And Bump the Boom Bap is just about the raw hip hop. That's boom bap, and the presence that it has here in the valley, at least for me. And so I say, when you're coming from that most south, tell them about that boom bap. I come from the southmost area, which is the most southern spot in Brownsville, which is the most southern town here in Texas. So it's the most south to me, and I wear that with pride. I'm happy that I come from this area because I really don't think I'd be who I am if it wasn't for the environment that I grew up in.
Conscious?
Well, one of them I brought from one of the songs I have, Bomb Diggies from the Ancient Temple album I dropped. That one right there just pretty much reminiscent of that whole 90s, just from the snares and just that whole instrumentation. And just, just from the whole concept, too, of the album, Ancient Temple, like, it's just me raising awareness, just not about some just particular subject, but just consciousness and stuff like that, just pretty much, I used to read a lot of books about, ancient Egyptian mythology, and the front cover of Ancient Temple is, like, the Egyptian pyramids and stuff like that. So like and it's just like just finding knowledge of self, like it's pretty what I'm all about right there. Yeah. And then the other track I has from my recent project, Stories from the Basement, called Good to See You. It's just like paying homage back to my friends back at home, like where I'm from, Belgrade, Florida, and stuff. A lot of guys don't make it to see 18 years old and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, it's good to see you alive, so paying a homage to them, just like that, like to all friends over there and stuff like that. Yeah.
What about Secret Garden?
Secret Garden, that was from the recent Stories from the Basement. That one right there is more on the like conscious, like just like just kind of just like just blacking out on stuff, like just kind of just really, it doesn't really have like particular content on there, just like
just dope raw rhymes on it.
Yeah, and that one right there, I didn't really have a really particular concept for it. It was just
fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna take a quick break and listen to some music. Tune in.
Keep up the pace, keep running, little keep on running.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris Castillo with Untitled Thoughts. In the studio with me, I have Farmertron Automatic.
How you doing, guys?
And Conscious
Welcome
back.
Yo.
Right, we're the master and expert straight out of Brownsville.
Okay, so we went over some of the shows you did, and what I want to talk about now is another show you just did, right? Criminal Nation presents Ruthless Aggression. What was that? Where was that? And what'd you do?
That was on 17th Street at Avenue 1704.
Yeah, that was my first time being there, actually.
We try to perform everywhere we can, and the dudes at the head of Criminal Nation reached out to us, and they had been trying to get us in some shows, but since we're from Brownsville, we like can't make it out as much sometimes, but we were able to make it to this one, and it was a ton of fun. I mean, I like what they're doing. They're bringing the everybody they can into their shows. It's not always hip hop. They do like metal shows, they do punk shows, they do all sorts of shows. So I mean, I personally love doing mixed genre shows, but this weekend was totally fun. I got to play my keys at Brewski's, which is right around the corner there, and on 17th Street also. I think it's Dallas Avenue, and I wanted to kill two birds with one stone, so they were having open mic there. So I took my piano, I played a few cover songs, and then we went and we rocked the show. And the people at Brewski's were treating us really nice, so it was good. It was really cool. There was a lot of familiar faces, tight knit scene. The boys from TAO were out there performing as well, as well as our homies from Crown Holden Clique. And it's the music that brought us together, and it's really cool to constantly see them at shows and seeing their progress, as well as them reciprocating like what we're doing. So it was a ton of fun. It was a really, really good show this weekend.
Oh man, I'm just letting Farmer do, just because I'm still new out here, man. I'm still just barely new to the scene, barely like getting to know these artists.
When did your career launch then?
I say 3 years ago when I when I
ago?
first dropped my first EP. So yeah, that's when I officially started recording. Really like start. At first I was just doing the ciphers and stuff like that. But now really got into writing, and I always have been good in writing since I was in elementary. Like everything else, I was not good at any other subject. But when it came to writing, like essays and stuff like that, so that really helped me a lot. Like,
So you mentioned TAO. What's your relationship with TAO?
They're awesome, man. There was this event that Mike Mouth from Boom Bap Masterpiece threw together, which was like a battle and a cipher invitation. I was part of that battle. I went up against Locomotive from Harlingen, and I won that one. And the boys from TAO showed up, and I didn't know there were a crew. I thought it was just like a crowd that came to see the show. And then they start ripping the ciphers, and I'm like, whoa, like they're like these kids are exponentially younger, like I'm 26, and I think they're like around 20, 21, and like they look younger than that. I thought they were like 16, and they were blowing me away. I was like, holy smokes, like these kids are really good. And then later on after that, I would keep seeing them at shows, and I was like, okay, they're one crew, and just the way they display the hip hop is like very, very mature. Like they put on a really good show.
I think they do. They have a very strong sound.
Yeah,
definitely
very strong.
And like each member, they don't have to be together all the time for it to be a good show. Like there could be 3 of them, there could be 2 of them, and they'll still wreck individually. So I take a lot of that from them as well. When I started Brownsville MCs, I told everybody like, hey, like we all gotta have initiative and we all gotta pull our own weight. Like we're not a crew to cover each other's weaknesses, but more to amplify our strengths. And that's exactly what they're doing together as one.
Yeah.
And
TAO, man. I mean, what more can I say about those dudes? Are just mad ill, man. Like just how organized they are, and just like how they perform, just their stage presence.
Went to high school, follow them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Graduated the same year as all of them.
Oh, cool.
No.
Damn.
Yeah.
I thought they were still in high school.
Yeah, I knew most of them when they came in through the door. I was like, I know all of you. I had class with like 2 of you. Like,
That's sweet.
Yeah,
they're awesome on an artistic level and on a personal level. Like they're always asking, how you doing, man? How you been? Like the love is real, and that's really what pushes this hip hop conglomerate. The fact that everybody doesn't need to be completely affiliated to be like, oh, like I think when they were in the show, they mentioned us too, and that was totally awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Man. So I wanna veer away from TAO because we accidentally made it a TAO show, and I want to ask, where did you guys find each other? Where did Brownsville MCs really find us?
I got this one. I mean, I had been doing shows for a while.
This guy's been doing it for.
At the university in Brownsville, the galleries in Brownsville, bars, like mixed genre shows. I was doing all sorts of shows, so people kind of already knew that I was doing shows. And Conscious was sending me his music, and I was just like, I thought he was from somewhere else at first. Like, this guy's not from nearby. But then he tells me he's from the Port Isabel area. I was like, oh, okay. Like he said, he sent me the Golden Child EP in the mail, and I was handing that out to Evolve, the boss from Boom Bap. I gave him one. I gave it to some people, and then there was this show that this graffiti crew called Get Used to It. I think they're out of Corpus Christi. They were doing a show at this empty car lot in Brownsville, and they got me to perform and for me to bring some MCs out. And I asked Conscious to come out, and he came out, and I was just blown away by his performance, and I was just like, we gotta work together, and
that was literally my first show right there. Yeah, Border Takeover, right?
Yeah, the Border Takeover. Yeah, that was like a year ago, like a little bit over a year ago.
A little more, yeah.
A little bit over a year, and ever since then, I was just like, hey, like we gotta keep pushing together, and that's basically how it became Brownsville MCs. Conscious records with Frank Hinojosa out there in Los Fresnos area.
Shout out to my homie, Frank.
He holds the Black Dice Studio.
Black Dice production. Just all production. He's a dope drummer too.
So I started helping Conscious get more shows with me, and he started helping me out with production, a place to record out there. So it's been like give and take a lot, and it's awesome.
What is your process? So my next question: how do you write your rhymes? How do you How do you
For the most part,
put your music together? What is your
for the most part, whatever I'm going through will affect me. Like, for when I was writing Automatic Farmertron, I would purposely sleep deprive myself, so I would be in a different state of mind when I would write, because I was feeling that I was writing the same things over and over again. So I would sleep deprive myself, and then after like maybe 3 days, I try to write something, and it was a little bit tough, but I think that like sacrifice really puts the sauce in my flavor of music. Bad experiences, overcoming, persevering. I try to take a negative and put it in a positive note. So for the most part, some people won't even recognize that some of my songs come from a negative place. But that's my spiel. Like make something out of nothing. So I like to read a lot. I love to read. I picked up Dharma Punks by Noah Levine. He's like some punker from out of LA. And I picked up Thus Spoke Zarathustra by Frederick. I don't think I pronounced his last name right. Nietzsche. Yeah, there we go. And that really like put me in perspective when I was writing Automatic Farmertron. So reading books, living life experiences, and then summarizing them is my writing process.
Yeah, same here. So just experiences in life and stuff like that. But mainly I get more writing when I listen to the beat, like whatever beat I'm listening to, and I can already like picture words already inside the beat. Like I don't know, sometimes the beat tells a story within it. Like just like I'm a very like into beats like Jay Dilla and stuff like that, guys like that, Pete Rock, Primo, and all those guys, legends right there. Just the way they orchestrate those beats, man, it's like a lot of people like, oh, you just people. A lot of people like usually just write it first. No, I gotta listen to the beat first.
Right.
Within the beat, man, I could just just try to break down everything, syllables and all that stuff. Like just
Sit
really
down and
chopping them. Yeah, I really just vibe with. I literally sit down, just vibing to the beat for like a good 4 hours. Like just really trying to come up with something like, and it'll just pop up in my head right now. Yeah.
So one of the questions I always ask deals with the struggle of being a SoundCloud musician or being like a DIY rapper.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had stories of people recording in closets with microphones. They just put a sock over a microphone.
Yeah.
They're doing all their edits on like an iPad mini. Well, what can you tell me about the struggle?
Oh, definitely. We come from that realm. I mean, I'd never been into like a big time studio to record. I mean, for the most part, I make do with what I got, and whoever lets me into their studio, I try to put on and get people in there. And I've worked with a lot of locals where it's just a room studio and you got to do some trick to, get the recording done. But I mean, I've never been scared to work. Like if we got to record it 10 times, I'll record it 10 times. And if I got to go out there myself and burn like little CDs and give them out after a performance, like I've done that too. Now I have the luxury to actually have something nice in print. So, like the work proves itself, it's all as willing as you want to take it, like, as far as you're willing to go, like that's how it's going to take you.
Yeah, I didn't have the luxury back then either to go to no studio and nothing like that. Like you said, that's what I did too, put the sock over the mic, and I had like a little washing room garage and stuff. I just plug. I had like a cheap program, Audacity. It's not really even made for like recording, just for files, Yeah. So you hear like the it's all just like muffled and stuff. Just like, oh man, I didn't have the luxury back then until I came across Frank, man. If it wasn't for him, man, like he just took me under his wing. Like everyone else, he was all the other artists he was charging $20 an hour and stuff like that. He was like, nah, I see you got potential, and I'll do everything. Like this is your spot, man. You ready whenever you want to record, man. Just from there, like we're still making music today, man.
Yeah, for the most part, it's always a barter, and it goes hand in hand with producers as well. DJ Master Yoda is an old timer. He's a mix master. He gets down on vinyl, and he heard me a few times, and he's like, I believe in you. He provided most of the instrumentals for Automatic Farmertron, so I'm honored. And Il Fisto as well. I don't know how I got a hold of his beat, but I think I was supposed to work it with Evolve, and it just sort of went down the wayside, so I just kept writing it, and I almost forgot to give him credit because I thought it was a DJ Yoda beat. And kids from Brownsville, they're like crazy with the production too. They'll send me gems, and it's an honor for people to feel like, hey, this guy's good enough to get on my track. So when I first started, people would be like, oh, well, you just take somebody else's song and then rhyme over it. But now I took it to heart. I was like, no, okay, I'm gonna use local stuff and make it good as well. And we're not afraid of any challenges. All sorts of production, all sorts of genres. If we could rhyme over it, we'll get it done.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take another quick break. Listen to some Farmertron Automatic and Conscious Vibe.
This Conscious coming up. Yeah, tune in. You're about to get that raw.
Yeah, I might check 1 2. I might check 1 2. Different rotations in the circle of life, and I was trying to gain some knowledge while I was earning my stripes. If you down for the revolution, you gotta put up a fight. I looked in the face of death, he saw my future was bright.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris Castillo of Untitled Thoughts. In the studio with me, I have Farmertron Automatic.
What's up, listeners? Do you guys have your mind made up?
And Conscious Vibe.
Yo, word up.
So we just listened to some very awesome music, and now we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of your personas, I guess. Who you are as Farmertron, who you are as Conscious. I just want to ask, when it comes to how you present yourself as an artist, what do you keep in mind? Do you keep in mind? Did you feel that you have to be loyal to artistry, who you are as an artist, or is it more important, or rather, is it easier and better to just find what is commercial and try and mold your music to that?
Nah, for the most part, I try to stay authentic to my roots, which is I grew up skateboarding. I've been skateboarding for 10 years. Like, the skateboarding culture is what shaped my musical taste. It went from punk to hip hop to jazz to, there was all sorts of stuff in skate videos. So for the most part, it's me being a skateboarder kid trying to make music that I would want to hear in a skate video. And I just I tried to mess with all sorts of genres, not just hip hop in particular, but if, I want to get weird, I'll get on my keyboard, or I'll try to get something really indie or work with local bands. I have the honor of being able to work with bands that are willing to put up instrumentations of their sound and let us get on it lyrically. And for the most part, commercially, I didn't start writing hooks until I started making an album. I thought hooks were very commercial, but hooks are very important. I thought it was kind of whack to sit there and repeat something over and over again, but it's the message, it's the presence. So as far as that goes, commercializing, not so much. Just try to make the song cool, and if it's cool, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it's all about being authenticity with me. Just the cats I listen to, all the East Coast, New York, those guys really take hip hop. I mean, that's where it all started at. Pretty much the Mecca there, and those guys take hip hop seriously. And I just grew up around that, man. Just being in elementary, my older brother, was bumping, Nas, Illmatic and stuff like that. Rakim, just all that, the whole Guru. I just man, it's part of me, man. It's I really live for this hip hop, man. The culture, man, just really, it's everyday life for me, man. It's
As far as master and expert, it's all chemistry. I'll tell them, hey, let's sit down and write. But for the most part, I don't have to. It doesn't have to be spoken. We just pick up on each other's, frequencies, I guess you could say. And as far as in master and expert goes, I would like for it to be more of a storytelling lyricism and conceptual, as far as in sticking to our imagination, and kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type adventure, but through music, and overcoming challenges and just letting people relate and make it a fantasy based, or whatever's dope, but for the most part, just vibe with the homie, and when we freestyle, that's where I know, because he just picks it up right where I leave off, and he finishes what I can't finish. It's as far as in working as a duo, it's really cool. He gets his own instrumentals, I get my own instrumentals, and we throw them in a box and we'll pick them out, make an adventure out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is, you talk about authenticity. What is authentic then?
To me, just it's all about just none of that gimmick stuff. I don't know, just I don't know. Hip hop just always about just really, really expressing yourself now. Just really really find you find yourself when you find hip hop. I find myself when I find hip hop. And like I don't know, it's all about just like I really know how to explain it. It's something that's just like it's spiritual to me. Like as like a lot of people they look at me crazy when I talk about hip hop like that. Nah, like I really live this like like I don't. That's my religion. I don't believe in nothing. That's the only thing I believe in is hip hop. Like hip hop got me through the worst, man.
For me, I was just always a weird kid, just being myself, and I guess being yourself is being weird. I don't know. Growing up, I'd hang out with punks. I'd hang out with cholos. I'd hang out with the theater kids. With the kids that were outcasted. I'd hang out with anybody. So I've never really had a problem being myself. And I think for people, they take into consideration a lot what other people think, and that's where the authenticity sort of slips out, because you're like, I don't want them to think I'm weird because I said this and this. I entirely never cared about that. So I guess I'm fortunate enough that it just comes to me and I just don't care about it.
Got you. Okay. So then I guess my next question, it isn't really related to music, but when you're out on stage and you're busting rhymes and you're doing your thing, what is your drink of choice? What do you reach for?
Budweiser and Chingon, Mickey's.
40s. That's all I 40s.
Before we go out to the show, our homie the Joker gets us everywhere, and like he treats us nicely.
Yeah.
And he lets us he's like, what do you guys need? What do you want? What's gonna get you through the show? And it's all in moderation.
Yeah.
We're not
right.
We're not we don't exactly get crazy or lit out there.
Yeah.
We try to, for the most part, it's important for us to get the show done and then we could party.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more. Yeah.
Or like at Brewski's this weekend for the Ruthless Aggression show right around the corner. They were treating us nicely. We were performing and giving us shots, and that felt cool.
Yeah, felt right at home, man.
Shout out to Gil and Monica out there at Brewski's on Dallas.
Yeah.
And what about you, man?
Me, just Budweiser, but mainly 40s. Yeah, 40 ounces. Yeah, it's a bad habit of mine, but yeah. Usually I get. That's all I need. That's all I really need is a 40. Because after that, you're just trying to take it to the next level. Then, yeah.
And Chingon too, it's very concentrated, and we bought like 2 6-packs, and we're like, we're just pounding them.
That was my first time actually trying that.
Not even like 4 hours later, it's like we already had like the hangover headache. I was like, this is too much, dude. And it was all in good fun. We made it out of that one alive.
So what are your outlets then? Do you have any social media? Do you have any online blogs?
You can follow me on Twitter. It's FRMRTRN, Farmertron with no vowels. Facebook, my real name, Juan Ataren, but if you search up Farmertron Automatic, I pop out too. As well as in YouTube, my channel is FRMR Films, Farmer Films, Media Mayhem. Or like I say, you could just search up Farmertron Automatic and my video should pop out. And Bandcamp as well, farmertronautomatic.bandcamp. And right now I only have Automatic Farmertron up in there. But I think, SoundCloud as well, Farmertron Automatic. It's a one keyword, Farmertron Automatic. Search it up on Google, and all the outlets should pop up.
Yeah, here's Facebook, Lil Conscious Vibe, Instagram, Conscious_Vibes with a Z at the end. I'm not really on the Twitter game yet. So I haven't really got on that.
It's a real zone.
And SoundCloud, Conscious_11. That's pretty much it. You pretty much get me.
You guys don't happen to have any merch, do you? Anything for sale?
Merch? Nah, I don't.
Just the CDs. Now that we're going under Master and Expert, we might look into developing, actual threads and maybe headwear. But for the most part, we're just really trying to concentrate on the music. But we definitely need to get onto that.
Yeah.
On that note, then, what's next? What's next for Master and Expert? going on?
Well, I'm right now. I'm just working. Right now, homie over here, Waldo Triller Vision. You know, we're doing a little EP called. We're doing like a little monthly. You know, dropping a new video every month and stuff like that. Drop All Sessions EP, and then I got the Boom Bap Masterpiece. My debut with them. Those guys right there is gonna be an EP. It's probably, you know, just a little something to start off with, and from there, yeah, I'm just gonna keep it rocking.
Yeah, I've been writing on my Automatic Farmertron album for a bit, and right now I've been in the works of getting a Master and Expert EP, debut EP. I have a battle coming up June 3rd at Avenue again, so I'm prepping up for that. My future album, solo album on Boom Bap Masterpiece, I'll call it Bermuda Pyramid, and I'll make it more conceptual than I did with Automatic Farmertron. I think that this one was more of I wanted to make something conceptual, but I also wanted to debut something solid, so I went with that.
Fantastic. So we're getting close to the end of the show, and I really want to thank you guys for coming on.
Oh yeah,
Thank
It was a
you.
pleasure
Thank you,
having
man.
you guys.
Yeah.
I loved your music. I'm probably going to listen to it on the way home. So, again, thank you.
Awesome, dude. Thank you.
For those of you listening, my next and final show for Season 2 is going to be the same time next week, 4:30, Tuesday. And it's going to be a finals version of my Spring Break Hangover. So it'll be Taco Bell Stories and Hangover. Taco Bell Stories and Hangovers Part 2. Hope you guys can listen to that. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Yo. Out here in UTRGV, man. The interview went dope. You know what I'm saying? We're out here representing for hip hop, doing what we do, doing it for the coaching. Shout out to my homie boy Triller Vision behind the camera, you know what I'm saying? Look out for the new video that's coming out, man. Got some more work coming out. Drop All Sessions, you know, but you're gonna keep doing it, man. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
How we doing, hip hop people? It's Farmertron Automatic, Master and Expert out of Brownsville. We're out here at the UTRGB radio station. We just wrapped up our interview with Chris Castillo out here. He was nice enough to invite us, and it was fun. It was a challenge to get in here, but we did it. We're a little late, but we're out here. It was great. I feel we tackled a lot of questions that were important, and we're just looking forward to more work. Shouts out to all the crew at Trillavision for covering this and for more future works. Y'all stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel if you want to catch more conscious vibe, more local hip hop, and don't sleep on it, baby. It's Master and Expert. We out.
Guess who's